Aww. Today we're carb swapping and making this baby here a dump bed. But first I feel inclined to tell you about our new merchandise. Come on. Peekaboo. Y'all know they call me the old Pike County legend. And you also know I'm known for my legendary mini trucks. Well, who remembers when we got this sucker running after 50 years and put 3 round bill in the back and pulled a wheelie grabbing second gear? Hell, everybody should remember that. We welcome our first cartoon release, guys, to lock that moment in history. We put it on a t-shirt right there, baby. Come on, Win. Boy, if I could fight Win, I'd whoop its ass. I'll be out here recording till tomorrow. There it is, folks. You got me hauling the hay with old Pike County legend right at the bottom. Get it while she's hot. I've got many trucks that dump. I've got many trucks that haul. PFS got many trucks that do it all. Now, speaking of mini trucks, y'all know who has the best looking executed body swap on YouTube, right? Right. I named that truck Bessie because she looks like a cow. Well, check this out. Ka-chow! That's right, our second ever cartoon shirt. We got old Bessie with a cow driving with the watch, more Puddin. This shirt comes with free solid life advice. And check out the PFS on the front of it. We got the moo cow print. Girl, that moo cow print over there at the old Rusty Attic Boutique, the shirt they had was just so cute as could be. Girl, I seen that same one on Etsy. I gots to have it. But Puddin, yes? What if I don't like the real cartoonish stuff? Boy, do I have news for you. Breaking news just in. As always, guys, we've got the traditional Puddin's Fab Shop shirt. Add it to the collection today. But Puddin, yes? But I kind of like them shirts you've been doing from the side view. Hell, what do you think old Mama Kangaroo's got here in her pouch, young Joey? Ka-chow, we got the stout with the side view with the old Mexican blanket backdrop. Holy cow. You put on this shirt, you're gonna wanna go Taco Boy. You see how excited Theo is about the shirt? He knew I was showing this one, he came running. Now you can quite literally match the Toyota Stout. Fancy. And we also have stickers available for the same designs, also available right now at puddinsfabshop.com, the only place to get official Puddin's Fab Shop merchandise. As always, guys, we appreciate all the support. Great way to support me and my family. I need all the support I could get. I just had a daughter getting to nursing school. Round of applause for Hank. That's enough. Guys, I sure hope you enjoy this video. If y'all remember the old Toyota Dually, I bought that out of a salvage yard. We did a Will It Run. We gave her a little makeover, and then we gave it to Dad. She's been down for the count for a minute. She needs a fuel system, so we're gonna get that on there. And then Dad's been talking about clearing a fence line, wanting some trailer, some type of dump this, dump that. And I'm like, why don't we just make that little Toyota where you can use it to clear your fence line? It's got a big old flatbed. So maybe we'll try to figure out some of that. Maybe by the end of this video, we can even try to clear some trees. Who knows? We ain't doing nothing until we grab this diesel, because she's in the yellow can. And I converted the Torola to a diesel now. This baby has been on E for about 3 months and we've still been using it. So she just running on fumes. Oh, that's good. Luckily for us, the spring broke. We're trapped out. Just give her a little redneck spring. Perfect. Hello. 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 Put the 4BT Cummins in her, she run good. Give her about half a gallon, that's good for about 72 miles. That thing had been down on below E forever. I really put less than a gallon in and now it's up off of E. We could make it to Dad's and back. Oh, Theo loves the Torola. I think because it's stinky like him. Autobots, roll out. This is why you can't beat Toyota, guys. The gas gauge has moved up to almost a quarter tank. And I'm not joking that I only put like half a gallon in. At this point, the car is making its own fuel. Theo's so impressed he can't hardly sit down. Let me show y'all my favorite part of the Torola in case you forgot. besides the awesome amount of tire noise and wind noise we get from this beast. Well, everybody knows it's that big old rear view with that handsome devil in it. That's right, I can see everything out of that rear view. Oh, I see you there, Florida. I see you back there. Theo, we've got a full tank plus 5 gallons in the back, dude. We can drive California if we want, not stop once. Theodore's Off-Road Adventures. Aroo, I'm Theo.
How y'all doing? I'm Mud Flat Matt. We're gonna take this tow roller to do a little off-roading today. Follow along.
Well, you ain't never been out here before, have you? I guess the dually's kind of tucked up in there, so that's why we're in this. We're actually gonna just try to finagle it out, where then we can come back with truck and trailer and pick it up. We got a deer running down the road. Bloop! Up in the ditch it goes, or up on that hill. Look at Killer here. Want me chase it, Dad? That deer must have been from England, because it was running on the wrong side of the road. If their dogs are outside, it'll make, yep, there they are. They're gonna be the barking police. I did not think this one out, bringing old Theodore. He's like, open that door, Dad. Open that door, Dad. Let's go see if we can find the truck. All right, well, here she is in all of her glory, sitting back here in the woods. He said it did fire up for him the other day when he went to move it some. This old motor had rolled off the flatbed and it scared him when he heard it, so he stopped, and then when he stopped it died, and then he never got it started again. Ooh, Dad's got his little tool purse in here. What a unit we had built for like 800 bucks. There ain't no way it's actually got a battery in it. Surely he was just doing it off the jump pack. As suspected. Did I bring a jump pack? Absolutely not. Looks like it's gonna be a tow off. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean off this bed. We got a pickup right here and a trailer we can sit stuff on. Yeah, it's like doing a whole nother revival on this thing. Dad found him an extra stilly. Now we're talking about love language. Back when Dad had built his deck behind his house, they said this thing was the perfect height to be like to work at, you know, cut the wood off of it and everything. Well, I found some of his leftovers stashed underneath here. Looky there. That's mighty convenient, ain't it? Almost like it was meant to be. Oh, don't bless old GMC now. What? What in the Jimmy and Jones do we got going on here, Dad? Indiana Jones. My dad's real name is Jimmy. Jimmy and Jones. That was a pretty good joke for being on the spot. Dang, Dad, she's got the bead rolls in her. That's a fancy machete. Now, what in the heck do we got going on here, Dad? You know what? I ain't even gonna ask questions. What in the Blair Witch Project? That had some dinger rigged up where if something ate on this, it would ching that. Let's try this sucker out, huh? Oh yeah, she's pretty good. Oh yeah, that's pretty good, Pops. Try and give me a run for my money, huh? Oh, check out the old logo, guys. I had that faded on purpose when I had it printed, but now that it's had time to cook in the sun, it looks a lot better on this thing. Now, the toolbox is new. I never added that. I'm just curious, is it actually bolted down? Nope. Don't worry, it won't fall off. Let's get her hooked up. That chain's short, so I'm having to shove her over just where we can unhook. Yeah. Yeah. Whoop. She don't roll as easy as I thought. Once again, the tow roller proving why she's a real MVP, as we can snake around through these trees no problem. We just don't want to break that grill. She is in pretty good shape. I'll get her strapped up to the front. They say where push comes to shove, well, this is where pull comes to tug. This is where we find out how worn out that automatic transmission is. Be good to me, old mama. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. She just ain't got it in her no more, guys. We're gonna go with the high-speed tug. High-speed tug position, quick. Good boy. Go, baby, go, baby. We made her about 3 foot. This is gonna be a long hill climb. You see how easy I just pulled on that? I got my wheels a little straighter and she started rolling a lot easier. It's because the tow roller is going straight back and I had those wheels turned. Now those wheels had to be turned. I just should have repositioned this sooner. Oh yeah, she's just pulling her uphill now. We've got her whoop now, guys. We've got her whoop. Once I got on the driveway, guys, that's easy. It's just kind of straight shot here, so I got her where we can get to her with the trailer now. The bumper did not make out so well in this deal. Looks like my zip tie's released. Now the Venture ain't over yet. We are gonna head down here at Dad's. It's where we have some junk stored. It's where I grew up as a kid. Of course, no one lives down here now. Some of the older videos, some of y'all were updated. We have crackheads going down here and stealing all of our stuff. They're carrying it out around this place, and Dad's whole property here is surrounded by a huge ravine. And they're carrying this heavy stuff, 10, 20 acres, and going through huge ditches and stuff. It's freaking crazy. I ain't been down here in a while, but since we know people come down here and steal stuff, every time I come down here, I do get a little nervous. I just feel like one of these days me or Dad's gonna come down here and someone's gonna be down here, you know what I mean? That's the old driveway, but she's washed out. We used to have the path right here, and you can tell it's been so long. We've been down here because there ain't even hardly a path anymore. Oh, stick across the road. Oh, we'll run it over, don't worry. Hell, at this point, I'm surprised they ain't pulled the old damn trailer house out of here, you know what I mean? Like Dad's building over there, y'all see that door open? Hey, don't leave those doors open. That's because someone's been in there. Oh boy. I wanted to come down here to look for we used to have some plate, some like sheet metal plate, and I thought it was right over here on the ground. Now Dad said it was over there towards that building I just showed y'all. Oh yeah, door on the old trailer house is open, door on the old well house is open. They've been down here rummaging again. I told Dad by the 55-gallon drums over here there should be some plate on the ground, but he may have moved it, and we're thinking about the same plate, and I just never knew it got moved. Ooh, someone need an OBS Chevy wheel? There you go. Look, doors on the Taurus, on the Honda, stepbrother's Camaro. I knew it. They finally got it. My stepbrother's Jeep they'd pulled the wheels and tires off of. His Camaro down here had some torque thrust wheels. Look, she's sitting on the ground. They got them. No good thieves. Guys, can you imagine, like, I'm telling you how far you got to carry a set of wheels and tires from right here to even make it to one of the other places. Probably further than what I told you. And through the terrain they got to go through them ditches and stuff. If someone's willing to work that hard, if they applied it at a job, they'd be CEO of the place before you knew it. Nah, them tweakers don't care. They got them, they're all messed up in the head, you know what I mean? They got them superhuman powers. We used to have a shed here, and I thought the plate was here. But maybe it's not. I'm gonna go do a little looking down back here, see if anything else looks abnormal. and I'll be damned. I come down here, I had one thing I wanted to get since we were gonna be down here, and they beat me to it. I had a quick change rear end, like one of the dirt track style ones, laying right here. It's not here no more. Them no good, dirty sons of... Surely they ain't stole the old dozer yet, have they? Hey, I think we got a little bit of a trail right here. Let's go get it, get it. Yeah, it really does look like someone's walked through here before. Y'all didn't know we had an old dozer down here. Look at this unit, huh? Never showed y'all this. I need to get old Puddin Pops to take a week off work one time and me and him come down here and try to do a wheel it run on this sucker. How cool would it be if this thing fired up? This would be the wheel it run of a lifetime here, because I don't know if y'all can see or not, this thing has a little pony motor, so you gotta get this little gas burner running, and then the momentum of that, you kick in the other one and plop, 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 plop. She's supposed to come to life. I'm sure we can trust these hydraulics. Now I know some of y'all were thinking when I pulled that knife off my side that if you were me, you'd probably have something instead that could swing some lead, if you know what I'm saying. And let me just tell you, my back pocket ain't empty. You'll know. I believe in self-defense 100%. Oh, I also believe we could get up in this stuff with some hot exhaust and start a forest fire. So let me get out of here. Here's some metal plate. I do remember this being here now. I don't know where we're gonna get that up out of the ground, but it's here. Golly. Not without a blade or a shovel or something. I don't even know where this metal starts or ends or anything. All right, there's a line right there. So we've got one sheet here, one sheet there. This almost looks like a little trail, don't it? Boy, it sure does. Boy, it sure does. Look where they've been dragging stuff down through here. Left the edger. They were probably rolling something heavy on it till it broke. The football helmet. Wheelchair wheel. Just walk along here. Bud Light can. And then right here's where they're going down and through the creek. Looks like they're going back up, right up that other side. And there's a lot of noise going on over there. So guys, if you sneak up through this way, I think this is pretty well Dad's property line. I know it's right in here along this area. That over there, let's just say not the nicest private neighborhood back in the woods. That's a good way of saying it. Well, at least we know where they're coming across now. Tell Dad we ought to come down here and set up some trail cams right here now. And then at least then he can take them into the sheriff's office, maybe get some decent pictures of these folks. Most people doing stuff like that tend to have a history, if you know what I'm saying. Pop up here in our old trailer house. We had stored some stuff in here for a little bit. This had most of like my stuff, my sister's stuff, my brother's stuff. And this used to be my sister's room right here growing up. And it looks like they've pretty well pillaged through all this too. No surprise. Dang, baby. We got some OG Legos. Better take them. Me and Hot Rod still play with Legos. Growing up, Mulan was my favorite movie or VHS we had. I don't know why, but we love this thing. We watched it all the time. That's how I know this one was mine, because we got some taking apart electronics. That's pretty normal for me. As you can see, we got another rear axle here, assembly, speaker box thing, old fake motor. And some empty 410 shells, because I used to keep that thing on me at a young age too. There's my sister, what a dork. I remember being a kid, this corner when it was rotting away, it was full of red wasp. I mean, that whole last foot would just be covered in them red wasp. Y'all know I'm always fighting those in my videos. I like fighting them. Well, that comes from an early childhood passion of mine. I used to go over there with my super soaker, pump that baby full blast, blast them things, turn around and run. When they caught up to me, just start swinging. It was a fight. Now, as fun as it is to go down a memory lane here, I don't think we're gonna be able to dig that plate up out of there. I think we're a little ill prepared. Should have brought shovels and some blocks or something. Maybe a jack. That'd probably be helpful if we could get it underneath there and start jacking on it. But we've got plenty of work to do. We still gotta get that tow roll or the Toyota home. Guess what we're watching tonight, buddy? Boy, this driveway ain't no joke, guys. I'm trying to stay up on this side because that left side's muddy where all the water goes down. Woo, there's a second. I didn't have the camera rolling. I didn't think we were gonna make it. Found me some old baling wire on the fence, break her in half. Hopefully this will get us home, at least with our bumper kind of dragging. Perfect. All right, guys, back out here with truck and trailer this time. We're loaded down, toolbox strapped, puts a little tension on the old crane where she can't swing out. Let's get her to the house. Yeah, go baby, go baby. What a rig, guys. So if y'all never seen this unit, we did like I said, we got it at a junkyard out there, actually pretty close to where we were at Dad's. We did a wheel it run, we got it running. I could tell the motor sounded pretty healthy. So then we gave her a little makeover, which consisted of lifting the front a little bit, just with torsion bars. And then we put these old mateys on it all the way around. A little paint on the steel wheels. This old flatbed conversion someone had done, we just painted it black, brush on with tractor paint. And I gotta say, it's actually held up pretty decent. Just don't look right there. The headache rack was tall. We had cut it down. I built a crane on it. That way Dad could move crap around his property. And inside, y'all had seen, I wrapped these doors and the seats with the cheapo Amazon makeover kit. Looks like I even, oh, no, ran out of material, so I put a patch on there. Got these sweet custom mats from the Atwoods Ranch Supply Place. Glued them in. Put some gauges in her, I guess. I mean, she's about as simple as a little work truck as you can get. Only other thing I see is the suicide knob I'd put on there. Now, if you're curious why this was a Toyota dually, it's because it was a camper. And you can see how that's been converted by the previous owners and then closed into a little truck. Of course, you can see the work up top. We got some aluminum patch panels, a little self-tapper, little rivet, self-tapper, rivet. Everyone knows to stagger them. That gets you your best hold. Shoot some silicone in there to help seal it up. They even installed a slide-in rear glass. How fancy. And like I said, Dad was kind of using it as a little work truck out around there. I failed Dad by giving it to him without a good fuel system. It just had like a 1-gallon tank rigged up underneath the hood. Dad was still using it. That wasn't the issue. The issue was this factory carburetor we had rebuilt started giving him a bunch of fits. And that's the first thing we're going to look at, is probably doing a little carburetor swappy swap. A little more finagling and we get her shoved up where we want. Let's get the hood open. We are going to put a Weber on this, guys. Y'all have seen me do no shortage of Weber swaps. Couple Datsuns, the Chevrolet Love for Slick. This will, however, be my very first Toyota. Look how clean she is underneath the hood. All right, never mind. Don't look too close. She ain't that clean. But she is pretty decent shape. I want to get this taken care of because I was looking at how that flatbed's mounted. I got some ideas. I think we can make this flatbed itself dump. Hey, Ma, Puddin's in the shop taking a dump. All right, let's get that factory breather off there. And there you can see our old carburetor. You can also see that I'd already plugged off a bunch of stuff. I was really trying to simplify this thing. Said the main thing I ever noticed was, unless that float in there was super perfect and happy, she would start to give you some fits. Woo! That's some nasty looking fuel that just come up out of there. Got that nasty fuel. We got some type of plug-in right here that goes to this carburetor. You always want at least 4 wires feeding your carburetor. That keeps them super simple. We've got our vacuum advance right here, running over to our distributor. Check. What else we got going? Oh, dual diaphragm distributor. Forgot about that. Looks like I made us a custom plug right there. You can see we got one going here, and then the one from the carburetor going there. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. Throttle cable comes right apart. We like that. Chris, if you just heard that fart, don't you dare put it in there. I ain't playing. I always tell you that. And then, boom, there they are. Leave that out of there. People think that's gross, dude. You always put them in there. As long as we get all these off, this baby should just pull up out of here, I think. That outside one was a 12. This inside one, they're 13s. Oh, probably just have mismatch hardware if we're being honest. Yeah, these are definitely mismatch hardware. And I remember on these, they have a through bolt. So I can put a ratchet on the bottom side, which is a little quicker for us. I don't know if that's supposed to be a through bolt or if I stripped those out and drilled them out. Who knows? That don't sound like nothing I'd do. I'm gonna pull our little lever assembly there, and I think we're free to come off. Ta-da! I know what you're thinking. Hey, Puddin, what if I can't afford a fancy little Weber 3236 and I gotta use a factory one like you were? Well, good news, my friends, because we're gonna tear into it and I'm gonna show you the best way to hopefully prevent this from messing up again in the future, even though we're not gonna use it. It's called the Puddin's Fab Shop Rebuild. Step 1, get that thing out of your life. Congratulations, rebuild complete. You'll never have yourself in a bad scenario again. You're welcome. So let's look at what's actually going on there, which is right here. The only original European factory manufactured Weber carbureting machine. She is guaranteed genuine. She's the gooder. You can get the knockoff ones. I don't recommend them, but I think I had one on my Datsun as a young man and it never failed me. So it may never fail you neither. Take that box. Woo! What in the is this? They threw in a free DVD this time from 2017. Fancy. Woo! Okay, so when you order these, they're supposed to come jetted for a 22R, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, each one could be a little different. The Toyota base is different, so you got to make sure you get this one. Like the Datsun one, you can't swap. We're not using this. The main problem with doing any Weber swap that anyone ever has is this right here. That two-piece kit loves to come apart and create vacuum leaks. I've tested all kinds of Loctites on it. I've tested this, I've tested that. Not my favorite. Other than that, as always, you get a breather, you get a little bit of random hardware that's supposed to help you, allegedly. Woo! Don't tell me this baby came with some type of block-off plate. Oh, no, probably some throttle. It's supposed to be some type of throttle something. We'll always figure that out. We got a cutter, welder, and a little imagination. If you're gonna do this swap, and you gotta break the bank to get that carb, wait to install it, in my humble opinion, until you can afford an extra 50 doll hairs. And when you can, you wanna get, I don't know, I lost the damn thing. Someone needs to clean out the carburetor cabinet. Do not fear, I found it. Do not even create yourself the headache of that two-piece until you can afford to buy you one of these right here. See that little one-piece unit? Much better. I've put these on a few things now and I ain't had problems out of any of them. Came with a couple gaskets, some hardware. Looks like I threw some other Weber pieces in there. And there's your part number for the Toyota, I think. Get you some brake clean. Gas it. They put their sticker on this bottom, so I'm just cleaning off the goot. Nice clean surface, so she'll seal. You know the deal. Look at that little tunnel ram. Y'all know how much torque we're adding to this unit with this right here? At least 1.5 foot-pounds. Think about it. If we load that bed down with cedar trees, we need an extra 1.5 foot of torque. Now over here, we're gonna pull, damn, it already had a tunnel ram. that gasket. That's old thick mama. Use that sucker as a hammer. Get her big chunks, and then if you want her nice and clean, you better run your old super scraper across there. This gasket wasn't playing no games, guys. I don't know why it stuck to that so good. Oh, make sure all that goes down in the intake. That's good for your engine, no problem. That paper will get down in there and soak up all that fuel. If we drop that on there real quick, we can see those studs are actually going to be too long. So sure, we could put some washers and crap on there, or we can try to find some smaller bolts or get some. I'd rather get something better than that. So we use our friend locking pliers here. We'll do a stud pull. That's what a stud pull really looks like. That is a disgusting tasting finger, I can tell you that. Makes around those easier to clean up too. That's looking beautiful. Let's suck on it. So there's our new gasket, but we better find some hardware. We will look at my huge metric selection. Same length, same threads. We may pull this off yet. Now, if your manifold is drilled right there, like apparently it was at some point on some of these, you would worry about plugging that. Obviously, we're not going to pull vacuum through something that ain't there, so I'm not too worried about plugging that hole. I'm more curious to see if we're going to bottom out on our threads or if she's going to tighten up. Oh, she's tightening up all right. Beautiful. Get out of here, you stupid bird. Hey, you're supposed to be on bird duty. Get it together, sir. Looks like I'm gonna have just the right amount of hardware out of that kit to make this work. Putting us a lock washer on that side. Then we'll put the nut up top. And that's all of our hardware, folks. So now we can snug it down. Oh, those are so nice, guys. They're just solid and good, and you can actually put torque on it and not be scared like the two-piece. I don't remember which subscriber had recommended this for my Datsun, but it was the best thing I've ever had recommended by anybody. Get your studs on. Boom. Another gasket. We're ready to go together. Woo! How beautiful. Amazing Weber. How sweet the look. All right, maybe I shouldn't remix songs. Now, before we bolt that thing down and end up regretting it, let's figure out our throttle assembly thingy, because these usually, whatever they send, fit like crap. We usually kind of just build something and make it work. Probably help if we bolt that on there facing the correct way and not backwards. All right, so this does have some round lever thingy mabobber that I'm assuming they want you to put that through there. And as you can see, we've got pretty good distance there, so that ain't gonna cut it. I really wish they had just put a regular cable thing on this. That hole ain't even the right size, so that ain't going through there. What do they think we're gonna do here? Just here, hell with it, weld it. So you can see why I kind of want to figure this out before it becomes too big of a problem. Dang, boy. She came with the Extendo Kit 900 right there, didn't she? So we know all that will work because it's factory. But if we bolt that onto there, will that work? Shoo, she may. Be the first one I ever had that actually works. There's a little retaining nut or washer on there, so let's bend that and then we'll get that nut off there. All right, loosen that baby, drop that, perfect, we're doing good. There's a little plastic washer on there, so don't lose that. And that is supposed to ride on the shoulder in there, so make sure you don't get that all finagled up. And then we'll probably go no washer for the mock-up. Now this shaft, as you can see, she's flat on two sides, so this is only gonna fit on here two ways. The way they intended for it to be installed, and the way we're gonna do it. There we go. Extendo kit on. Now the question is, when that goes through there and drops through there, is any of this the correct angle? And so far, the answer is no. Of course it's not. I'm gonna pop our cable in here and just mock this up and see what it looks like. Not touching that. See, that's way down there. That doesn't even make no damn sense. I knew this was too good to be true. I like how I say that when I'm the one who put the tunnel ram on here and ain't using their little tiny adapter. That would definitely have that drop down a lot more. Let's blame them. We got damn hawks and crows fighting. Get out of here. I see you on them trees. Yeah. I am not to be messed with. I ain't got no time for no yipping birds. Whew, I should not be out of breath. I think we may be able to use this really long bolt right here and mock something up. Caw, shut up. Sorry. Damn birds, man. There's one thing I never want to hear yet, ever. It's a bird. We bolt that down through there. Make sure it can get enough threads. And we just need some type of spacer in between there. See what I'm cooking up here? And that's about it right there. I had some, yeah, that right there. Shock bushing, comes with your shocks. This might be just what the old doctor ordered. Old Dr. P. Tangy. You know, that spacer is stinking perfect length. What's not perfect length is this bolt. Gotta be just a hair longer than that. Dang it. Bingo. I realize that's going through a spacer. That out there is a nut plate, so that'll tighten down. You can see we've got a little slop there, but do not fear, because we've got a little adjustment right here to take some of that out. However, you see how those little tabs right there that stop that from going down in there is like perfect height right there. That means that shock bushing is literally like the perfect length. So what we can do is, now we can pull that bolt, and then this whole setup will come off there, and then we can reinforce this with some scrap plate and weld it, or do whatever we gotta do to make it pretty. Check her out, just how we need it. We'll lock that baby in with a couple welds, and now we want to put a bolt back in these two, so we want to drop this down to here for a little more support, even though I'll say that's pretty stinking solid. But we don't want to block those two bolt holes is what I'm getting at. Just got some 1/8 inch stuff here out the scrap cabinet. She's already got an angle, so we're going to play off of that. Some real precise measuring there, as you can tell. Slice and dice, go! Real quick work, guys. Let's see. If we want to weld it up that back side, we need to take just a hair off the top. Woo! That was close. No, she got me a hair. Not enough to make me bleed. Kind of got that dead skin that's right next to your fingernail. Did y'all see that? Yeah, she's gonna try to bleed a little bit. Yeah, I know better than to do stupid stuff like that. Sometimes I'm in a hurry like right now, and I still do it. You know, because I'd rather cut off my finger and go to the hospital instead of putting it in this vise that's right here. Why would I use the vise when it was holding the camera? Be smarter than me, guys. Throw you a few welds on it, guys, and that's gonna be plenty strong. As you can tell, I'm not worried about making this overly pretty. Let's not act like she's going on a seamer show truck, okay? As long as it don't bend when Puddin' Pops is doing Papa Wheelies, that's all that matters. We'll let that cool off, and I am starting to bleed, so we've got an open wound. We've got to sterilize it. Don't worry, guys, she ain't bad. She ain't bleeding bad. We're gonna wrap her up and hopefully not get her too dirty. Told you earlier that finger don't taste so good already. There we go. As easy as it was to modify, we can't complain about that. That's why on some of these swaps you can do all the planning you want, but sometimes it's best to just dive on in and do a little firing from the hip, baby. Old cable's a little crusty, so we're gonna hit her with some looby dooby. That's gonna get her spinning real nice like. Oh yeah, now she's cooking. No carb swaps complete without a hammer job. Dang, that bracket's pretty solid. It's shaking the whole motor. There we go. Seen that took some slack out of her. Let's kind of bend that up straighter now. See, we're still a little loosey-goosey. There we go. Seen her move that time. We're getting better. I think we'll take that right there. I'm gonna go gas it. Y'all watch out here. Vroom, 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 vroom. Is she working? I felt something pop. Is she returning all the way? I may have tightened her up too much, huh? It's all right, because we got plenty of adjustment back that way. Get all your hardware started, and then we'll get them snugged. Oh, there's our last one. How convenient. Our vacuum advance can go right back basically where it came from. Stretch, stretch. Num, 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 num. Forgot to get our wiring job here. Safe to assume one of those is going to be a hot 12-volt key, which will work for our electric choke. A big red one was hooked up to our electric choke on that one, so that's what we'll test first. Put our jump pack on, turn our key on. What's the old meter say? Meter's only showing 2.6. There we go. There's a good 12 volts right there, that black wire. And another 12 volts. Check it with our key off. Perfect. That's what we're after. So we'll trim them others down just in case we ever need to splice off of them for something else. And then our winner there, just give her a quick crimp job. We tape that up about how we had to tape my finger up. Or almost had to, you know what I mean. Whatever. Earlier I said that fuel was a little stinky, a little nasty. So up next, we're gonna try to purge out what is in the fuel pump, fuel filter, before we hook that up to the Weber. So right here, I put some fresh gas in our jug, good clean stuff. We're gonna drop our supply down into there, and then the output from the pump and the return, I've put them both into this small bottle. And in theory, as long as she's ain't lost her prime, we should be able to pump on it or crank on it, and it'll pump and clean itself out. I smell fuel. Oh yeah, looks like we got some pee in there. Perfect. We're doing good. Smells like stinky fuel. Looks like we're doing a good job. Plenty of clean fuel in our fuel filter now. That looks way better. We like that. I bet we did good enough there. Surely we're to the clean fuel by now. Yep. You can definitely tell by one drop on the thermostat housing. All right, so we'll put our return into our jug, and then we'll hook up our supply on the whole Weber. All right, guys, I think we've done what we need to do for her to bust off. Let's see what happens. So take a few cranks to get some fuel in the bowl, and then she should go. What is going on here? I still ain't seeing fuel. That's weird, considering it pumped enough into there. Interesting. Very interesting. Now let's just put a little fuel down her and see if the RPMs get it pumping better. All right, let's go with a little 93. How's that? 93 octane. Well, boy, now we really got a mystery on our hands. Oh, she's squirting now. I see fuel coming out of it. All right, so did we lose spark? Because it ain't even acting like it's trying. Hooked up our little helper switch where we can crank it from underneath here. Unplug number 1. We're gonna put screwdriver in there. Key is on. So let's see if we can get some sparking across here. No spark. Huh. Wonder where it went. Oh, spark. Where are ya? That's interesting. Dad said it was running the other day and then it quit. Well, what in the heck is that thingy? Nom nom nom. Just playing. All right, we've got our coil right here. Should be electronic ignition as far as the pickup style. Shouldn't have points or nothing. So let's narrow some of this down. Next, we'll take our coil and we'll see if we're getting spark out of it. Coil not sparking. No sparky spark available. Now, if I remember correctly, to get this thing sparking the first go around, all I had to do was put that piece of wire in right there. I think I just found our problem, guys. Check that out. That was one of the very few wires that was chewed through by a rat, and it's, oh, perfect. It was apparently full of corrosion, that cheapo wire I used. The problem is that down there is just butted up as short as can be. Let's see if we can fix this for the second time. This time, I'm gonna try to get a little solder on her, and that should be a better long-term repair for us. Put some heat shrink on there. That's the good stuff with the glue in it. Then I'm gonna put that little torch in there, use the exhaust for a minute to shrink that down. I started to put butt connectors on it again and then thought, yeah, do that, dummy, so you can do it again in the future for the third time. She'll work. Put our coil wire back on. Let's see if we can get spark now. Oh yeah, there she is. That'll take you for a ride, buddy. That'll zap you so hard you'll poop your britches. Bet she fires up now. Here we go. Oh yeah, fire right up, don't she? Well, she's the idler again, guys. She does look like she's running a little rough, don't she? Let's spray around just to check for vacuum leaks. I'm not so thinking around our carb. I'm thinking maybe something else that I'm missing. Oh, never mind. Y'all hear that click, click, click? That's number 1 zapping to the engine. She's currently a 3-cylinder. See, I knew something wasn't right. I was like, boy, that don't sound too good. She sure is rough. Surely not because of that right there. Let's try her running on all 4. I bet she'll get plumb buck nasty now. Much better. Woohoo! She's gonna haul some timber, guys, I promise you that. Guys, we are idling. Just beautiful. I mean, listen to it back there. Hell, what else could you ask for? The only thing I've kind of been nervous to see is that right there. Is that gonna return? Because that versus it hanging up a little bit is obviously a issue. There we go. That's what we want. 12 degrees if your vacuum hoses are hooked up to the distributor, and 0 degrees if they're not. 5 degrees if you're fuel injection. Who knows, guys? Let's just see where we're at. Going live. Hey, there's a fan there, careful. I think we could give her a little more timing. It ain't far off. I think it goes, what'd they say, 12, 8, 5, 0. We're at about 8, so we can give her a little more. She'll probably like it. Hear her idle up a hair. I took her a little too far there. There we go. That's right on the money. I'll lock her right back down right there. Huh. What was that noise? Yeah, she seems to be running pretty good. Spliced in this vacuum gauge here. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit. Well, I may try to adjust on the idle mixture some. I think that's right in there. There she goes. Oh, they went a hair too far. Got her from about 16 and a half to 18 and a half. You hear that? That means we went too far. That improved her a hair, so we're gonna leave it. I don't know what else to do to make it much better. Let's see if we can take her back and forth real quick, just to see if the clutch, brake, stuff like that's still working. Good thing we tested it. Sure enough, that throttle's still acting a little sticky. Dang it. Oh, baby. They were taking turns, huh? We got a little four-wheel pill going or what? She's just a damned old Pot County legend, baby. I loosened her cable a hair more and then pop her breather on. Now, it always comes with this elbow fitting that's just too damn big for anything. So let me show you what I did. Oh, yeah, I wrapped it with electrical tape. And then this hose here was pre-bent for the Toyota, but it fits really good on our 5/8 heater hose. So now I'm shoving that on there, and we'll figure out how it tucks, about like so. Is that the best thing ever? No. But is it fine for this? Yes. And what are we gonna do this one right here? I guess aim it forward. Hell, I don't know. I'm happy we got our carb swap done. It did take me longer to get the truck here than I was planning. But we'll be back on her in the morning. We're gonna figure out a fuel cell. We may even cut this bed clean off of her. Good morning. Let's get a little crazy. Let's get a little fabrication going, guys. Right here, the cheapest fuel cell I could find on the eBay. Let's say 30 inches. Give us a little wiggle room. 9 by 12. And I'm hoping we can get inside there. And it looks like we can possibly go. Oh yeah, we'll definitely have room for our 30 inches. Ooh, there's a little bracket right there. Maybe we can set it on that. What did I say height-wise? 9? Yeah, I think she may clear. And width-wise, what did I say? 12? Dang. So here's the thing. If we're sure that'll clear the flatbed, which I think it will, and we know we're gonna make this bed dump, which I think we are, one thing we're gonna have to do is cut this flatbed off of here, just so we can make it dump. So we might as well cut it off there and get it out of there, and it'll give us way more working room to then make the fuel cell work. So instead of putting a fuel cell in it, let's figure out how to get this bed off here. Now up here towards the front, we just got that right there. That's the only mount that I can see. We could probably cut along right there and get that separated, no big deal. One on each side, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Down through there, there's nothing else, guys. Not until we get back here. And back here, well, we've got all kinds of crap going on. I think the motorhome factory added this piece of frame, and then I think that flatbed's just set up on there. We got some crap intermingled and intertangled back here where they made all of this crazy thing work. And to pivot this, all that has to come off anyhow. Because where I'm wanting to pivot it at, I'm thinking is right in here, right above our bushing. So if we could build something up to there and pivot off of that, we need behind the factory frame to be cut, so that has a place to pivot down and this stuff don't swing and hit the ground and everything else. So we'll get to redesign the back of this thing. Let's start figuring out how to get this cut off there. Get up off that thing! Woo! Holy long dong silver. That thing's longer than a 70s Cadillac. Too slow. We need more power. Yeah! Woohoo! Much faster. We like that. So looking at the back, obviously that's mounted from there to there. This is kind of interesting because I've noticed that our factory frame is actually cut, and then it looks like something's added. It's like added back to the bottom. What in the custom step job we got going on here? So that was most of our mount at the rear. However, if I look up in here, right there where my fingertip is, there's some booger weld, and that is from the bed frame to the frame of this pickup. So I don't know how we're gonna get that because this is right in the way. Don't worry about that hornet's nest or that good quality solid rust. I don't see booger weld on this side, but that don't mean it ain't hit up in there. And then on this side, it looks like one tack weld. That takes care of that. Watch your ears. I don't know if y'all could see, but that piece definitely picked up. I'll take some tension off our blade. See that? Yo, careful. That's how you'll jack that blade up. The good news is we've made it to the weld. I'm lubing this blade up with cutting fluid too, hoping that'll help go through that hard weld. It appears she would like a fresh battery. Lock and load. Yes! Did y'all hear that? I do believe her to be free. I think this side's free too. Now our front ones here, we're gonna be a little more calculated because I think we can reuse these. So if we cut it right in the middle and we get that thing pivoting, my hope will be when it sits back down that we make all this line right back up, if that makes sense. We can add little flat pieces on here to give it a surface for it to sit. No, ain't done much thinking into it. We're just kind of trying here. So from that up to there, I'm gonna mark 4 inches and we'll square her off. Torch it. Not bad for old shaky hand McGee. Woo! She picked up and then sat down. Right now we're going for a couple accomplishments. One is to fully separate this bed, which to do that, we're cutting right there where you just seen. I separated these, and I think all we gotta do is cut this. And we're actually gonna cut our frame, which is why I'm leaving this little cross member in to hopefully keep our frame from springing back together. Of course, now that I see how janky that is. Oh, that's broke. All right. But either way, they're still welded up there. She'll hold or she won't. We're gonna cut this with the Sawzall all the way through, and then we'll cut these where this holds our weight so it don't fall on us as we do that. As you can see here, just take our wire nuts off, and we got that quick disconnect, baby. Welcome to Pot County. Beautiful wiring job. Well, I don't know if you've ever tried cutting fluid on your Sawzall blade, but you won't regret it. Don't mind me, just cutting frames in half. Like butter. Now, I think as we cut these, this is gonna drop. So let's be smart about it. We can lower it down and then we won't crush ourselves. Whoa, hold on. Jeez. About knocked that sucker off the lift and crushed ourselves. I forgot I'd put a safety stand here at the front. Ironically, that about become a non-safety stand. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that from way up there. Ooh, we should have supported that. That side of the bed is definitely bending and not looking too happy. Hey, bed, are you happy? There, old Russ finally gave out. Don't worry about that. We'll cut that, hammer that back over. Maybe we'll find something put across the back, stiffen her back up. This sucker's gonna pick up a 1.25 miles getting all this weight off. Ka-chow. She gone. Fixed it. Prepare for blast off. 3, 2, 1. Blast off. I think our bed's free now, guys. Aha! Let's switch gears. I said we were gonna cut that off there and pick it up so we could do our fuel cell. However, I'm realizing instead of moving the truck, picking up the bed, moving the truck out to create room, we would be much smarter, because as you can see what I was trying to accomplish here is that we put our hinge point like back here somehow. So then as that pivots, this can have room to swing down, hopefully. We may end up having to cut that one out. But the bed is still exactly where it was. We know that because our front pieces are lined up super good. It hasn't moved out of position. So I cut that piece and that piece, and we may want to add something across there real quick. But before we start moving this bed, we maybe want to figure out our hinge system. That way we don't have to line our bed back up. She's already lined up for us. Let's see here. What we got? Right at 37. Let's head to the old scrap rack. I think we got exactly what we need. Come on, Theodore. You gonna be old junkyard dog or not? Got your one Michael Jackson glove, say hee hee. When we first bought this place and I cleaned up around the shop, there are some pieces of 2x3. Quite a few of these laying around. And perfect. We can cut her down. She's about 1/4 inch thick too. That's what we like to see. Don't worry about all that rust falling out of this. It matches the rest of the truck frame beautifully. Well, I told you that rust would blend. All right, lock that baby in. As y'all can tell, I wasn't too worried about, oh, let's check this, let's check that. Guys, I just kind of eagle-eyed her and welded her in. Let's not act like we need to do anything more serious than that, okay? So I kind of been staring and I ain't quite locked in my full idea yet, but we'll figure her out. This morning, after dropping Hot Rod off at school, I stopped at the hardware and got a 1-inch bolt. I think this is 4 inches maybe. And talking to the old engineer Mortsky, who went to school to be a smart man, he said I shouldn't have got grade 8, that they're for their clamping, that they should shear easier or something. I don't know. Who even knows? All I know is it'd take about an hour to go to the place and back and get them returned. So we're not going to do it. What we're going to do is come right here to our rack. We're going to get this, which is some 1/4 inch thick wall, 1.25 DOM. So that means the ID should be 1 inch exactly. So that should slide in there, which it does. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna thread that on there until she's flush. We'll probably end up drilling a hole through there and cotter pinning that where it don't come off. And then we'll measure in between here, which is 3 1/16. So we'll probably just make that an even 3 inches. We'll divide that by 2, 1.5 inches. We'll cut us 2 pieces of this stuff 1.5 inches long. Then that'll give us 2 surfaces to be able to weld on. That's gonna make our hinge. We're gonna need 4 of these. Do a quick little cleanup, little deburr. Little Scotch-Brite home job real quick. We gotta drill and tap those suckers and put a grease zerd in there, huh? Someone's gonna say it. Check that out. Like I said, as long as we pin that, now we got 2 points that can pivot. Woo-hoo! How professional. That's perfect, guys. There's a little taper right there that was kind of wanting to cut into, and it's creating a lot of drag, and that right there freed it right up. Let's see how I did. Dang, partner in the middle. That's pretty good. Slap us a cotter pin in where that can't back off. There's our hinge, guys. I'm a pretty fart smeller. Hey ho, hey ho ho. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Apparently one of them made it into my shoe, through the front of my sock, rolled underneath my toe, and then me kind of just leaning up on my toes, I finally felt it. I can't believe these good quality Skechers I wear aren't made out for plasma cutting. So weird. Oh, nice. We can build a sandcastle out of them puppies. Get a little warm. Uh-huh. Woo! About got me again. This truck's just trying to take me out. All right, I want to use a real good wire wheel on that pitted rust where you can get down in there nice and deep. And I think we can take our hinge straight to that, guys. One of that cross member out there where I had room to weld and kind of brace this. Now this is just 18 gauge, obviously not that strong. Luckily we've got this very rusted out piece right back here we can trust. Additionally, right up here we've got this 1/4 inch piece welded across there. So as far as this coming in and out, I don't think we really needed another cross member in here. I ground on these to clean them up, and I'm thinking we can come right back about in there. We'll weld it in there, and then we can do a little gusset and a gusset or something. Figuring it out as we go. Now, one thing that sucks about doing these 2 separate hinges is we kind of need these things still in the same axis, like on the same pivot point. They need to be as close as we can get them. So I took this and I set it at 90 so we could use it as a square. And I went off the center of our shackle, gave us a mark right there. I then brought it up there, lined up with our mark there, gave us a mark right above the 90. Then I dropped off there, marked down there to right down there. Then from there, I marked over, got us a mark over here. And then from there, I measured up 4.5 inches. It's a little crude, but it should get us in the same spot on both sides, pretty close. I did this side too. You can see my first line. And then I did some reference measurements off the leaf spring bolts to both measurements, off a couple cross members. And all the measurements I said, or got, said this side needs to go back 1/4 inch. So I marked it back 1/4 inch, and now everything's marking or checking good. Let's get these hinges tacked in. Oh! I'm using just a reference to make sure I'm on my mark by indexing this a certain way. We'll get her tacked, we'll check it with a square, and then we'll lock her in. That's better. Boom, boom, bop, bop. Couple fat tacks front and back, we'll take it. Here's how I know we did pretty good on our measuring, because that fits right up in here just beautifully. And it fits this side just beautifully as well. The thing that's different is, and this kind of reveals, when I hold that straight in there, we've got quite a bit hanging over this side, enough room for weld. This side, however, that and that is pert near flush. No room for weld. We'll figure it out. I did this making sure it was 3 inches wide, because I think I have some 3-inch wide, 1/2 inch thick strap, and that's what we'll use. That stuff right there is what I was thinking of. And I guess I lied on the width. I've got 2.5, and I've got 3.5. Fresh out of 3. We're gonna go with the thicker stuff. Luckily old Hypotherm Big Mama was able to blast right through it. And if you don't have that, no excuses, guys. Get you an 1.5-inch hole saw. Hole saw it, then you can cut out the rest with your cutoff wheel. You can still make that happen. Knock the rust off of her, kind of clean our edges, and I put us a little bevel right there where she's gonna sit. Oh, hey, there's a bed there.
Okay.
All right, pack her on, guys. I believe we have a bed that could now dump. Kind of like me after my morning coffee kicks in. So let's test her out. Got our stand up front. Got us a stand out back for some stabilization in the situation. And then I put another one right there on that cross member, which actually we should come back because I'm planning on trying to attach to like this one here. So let me do that. Here we go. Start picking up on this and see what happens here. Oh yeah, she's starting to dump. The only problem is I don't think we got much more left in our little screw there. And I'm not sure I want to do this, but I think we're going to try it. We're going to pick up on the bed. My fear is if one of all those tack welds break, this baby's going to fall. But let's see how she acts. Woo, she's dumping. What was that? Oh, you know what it was? That weld right there. There was some weld on the inside. I just couldn't see it. Good news is hinges didn't break. I bet it'll dump easier now. Pivot's looking good. Guys, that's a pretty good dump bed already, I can tell you. Woo! All right, something just gave. Oh, no. Them hinges still hold. Ow, dang it. Found that with my head. Hinges are still holding on. She slipped off the dang lift. I should have had the truck in neutral where it could have rolled. Easy does it. All right, we get that underneath there. That offers her a little bit of support. With that supported over there, I lowered her back down, put the truck in neutral. We're gonna try again against my also better judgment. The truck being able to roll is helping a ton. And of course the battery died. And once we've got right in here, it's starting to act a little janky again, starting to slip. But I think that's a pretty good good enough test for me. Woo, look at that leaning, the load on it. Obviously, if we could get a little more incline, that'd be even better. Let's say that old P-Tang's got hit in the cabinet here. Oh yeah. How about we knock the dust off of this old girl? Stretch that baby out so we can measure it. Full stroke, about 43.25-ish. And when it was all the way in, it was 24.25. With those measurements, we can kind of try to figure out where to put that thing. However, putting a few welds on all that stuff instead of just tacks, now that we know it's gonna work, will make me feel better that it ain't gonna just drop off there. I don't have a good 5/8 bit, so I'm having to use my step bit there and go from both sides. It leaves a little lip right in the middle. We'll get it with the waller. Just enough to get that lip off there. Perfect. This is 1 3/4, so I cut it to 1 3/4 where she is a square offset. That's a 5/8 hole. And you can see I'm using the cutoff wheel to actually taper those edges where we got a place to build up some weld. Little eyeball work, got that. Now this piston tapers down, so I put a couple washers there. That's gonna have to have a little slack in it. That one washer worth on each side should work. Our ram, I lowered it down so it ain't at its max. Instead of 43 in the change, it's around 39 3/4. And basically what I think we gotta do is just figure out where we could put a cross member, come in just high enough to be able to clear the drive shaft, however much we think there. And then we're just gonna mock up a tab where we can pin that, and we're gonna try lowering that down. And hopefully there will be enough stroke that it goes in all the way and we don't hold it up. I think we've got a decent chance. Looky here, guys. That 2x3 like we used on the back, those are 42 inches. I measured our frame, we need 42 inches. That's perfect. Where they plated this is a little tall, so I'll grind that down. We'll clean this up, tack this into place, come up with some very simple tab to tack in the center. We'll put a bolt through it, and then we'll take it on a little test run. Now the one thing I didn't really think out too well with this was how we're gonna be able to release it. Because as y'all probably know with those little rams, you gotta back off the bleeder and then it lets it bleed down. So our bleeder's right over here. So we'll have to put probably a uni-wiggler in there and extend it over and make a way to release it. Definitely ain't getting that done today. All right, did the same thing here. So on that 1/2 inch strap, just cut it, drill a 5/8 hole, had to round on it some to make sure it's clear. Guys, we're ready to put a little air on this sucker and see if we can continue picking up. Let's see what happens. The weight's come off our stands, it's off our lift. Ooh. She's off of something because she's rolling. So I think right there would be max dump. I mean, that's a pretty good angle. I'll be honest, I was hoping it was going to take it just a hair more. I'm not sure that trees are going to slide off that. Obviously, they'd slide a lot easier than having to drag it all entirely. I mean, we're hitting a 30-degree angle. That's pretty good. To get plumb up to a 45. We would need, I don't even know how much more out of that. See, in theory, we could take that mount further, but then we're going to start running out of what it can collapse back in, right? Or wrong? Because the whole thing would move at that point. I don't know. My brain's about brained out for the day. Now, since this stuff is just tack, guys, this is extremely dangerous, okay? So I'm going to go take our last stand out, and then I'm probably going to have to crawl underneath the truck to release the thing so it can ease down. And at least then if stuff does drop, I'll be underneath it where the suspension will catch. Boom! You do not want to get in between that bed and that frame. I don't even want to get underneath it. I just don't know what else we're going to do here. We're weight off. Woo! I really don't want to get in there. Now that I'm looking, I don't know that tab is gonna let that pivot down the base of that. We may have to redo that, and if we do, we should probably wrap it in a way where it do it where it wraps that 2x3 where we've got more welding surface. It's coming. Or am I crazy? Was it moving? And when she's coming down, guys, Coming down. Well, I still don't know about that. If it ends up working, it's gonna be close, but I don't think it's gonna. I think we're gonna have to move the cross member back and kick a tab out at an angle so it has room to whoop down. I hope I'm wrong. Well, it looks like I may be wrong. Is she gonna go flat? Is she gonna go flat? Oh, she landed. She has landed. Roger, Eagle has landed. Guys, I think we did it. Woo! Going up. Well, there she is, guys. That's all she's gonna get. I don't think it's too shabby. What do y'all think? Let me know down below. Obviously, we've still got more welding and bracing and crap to do. My thought process, I don't know if I covered this, is we could put like a few gallon air tank on it. I've got a 12 volt compressor, and then the truck could always have 12 volts of air, or have air from 12 volts. And then you could hook up an air hose if you needed to, or if you were using this, obviously you could just hook it up. I don't know how much air doing one stroke of that requires though. So that's something we probably need to figure out. But for today's progress, I'm pretty happy with that. Guys, I'd set that bed down and I looked up underneath there and I thought, well, let's see how much rain was still showing. And there's about an inch left. So I was able to cut our tacks. Maybe you can see the old one right there, and move that whole cross member forward an inch, which means we get more lift. But it wasn't nothing crazy. It was like 32 to 33 degrees. We picked up about 4 degrees on it. And other than that, I just started locking it in. I didn't figure y'all want to watch a lot more welding. So I burnt this cross member in. Then we're just gonna cut some more strap. As y'all can see on that tab, I put about 3 passes on it, on each side. On those little tiny tabs up there, the same thing. Each one got 3 passes. This was some plate I had that was that length. I just rounded the corners, welded it there. That'll work. Don't look shabby. And it's taking minimum effort. And I sent some pictures of old Puddin pops a minute ago when it was lifted up, and he must be excited because he teleported over here real quick.
I was on my way home, so.
You think that's gonna dump limbs?
Yeah, hell, that'll dump rock, dirt.
You're gonna have the best little work truck in Pot County. We're gonna have to get rid of your toolbox.
Yeah.
You gonna keep the crane on it?
Yeah.
All right. Puddin pops a spoke. What he wants, he'll get. Help! Help! 2 long days I've been cutting, welding. I need help. There's nothing quite as long as taking a trip to Gusset City. There's a little pro tip. People ask me why I don't grind that off. You ever try to flap attack that stuff? It's just like grinding metal. It takes forever. You can grab that, boom, chip it off, done. That's a new song. Boom, chip it off, done. Boom, chip it off, done. That's our only cleanup. Get down here, tack her in place, let that welder get a taste. That'll stabilize her. Put those in there to stabilize the side to side. If you look behind our hinge right there, got some 1/2-inch plate. These little pieces I didn't even cut. They were our scraps over there on the floor. That's why they call me old Ricky Recycle. I welded the backside of those babies, more welding. Guys, we're gonna build the catch for where it comes down and catches the front. And I was looking in my scrap cabinet and I have these right here. What are these? Glad you asked. These are the leaf spring U-bolt retaining plate thingy-mabobbers. Where that angle iron comes down and sits on each other, I'm fine with that. I just want a piece of plate in there where it has a larger area to land on in case it ever starts to twist a little bit. And this is good because 1, it's scrap metal, and then 2, it's got those lips. So I think we're just gonna put this in between there and weld it. Poor Theo, nobody loves me. All right, guys, we're gonna work on getting us a release handle. Also built from leftover scraps. I had some of this 5/8 tubing. I slotted it similar to a jack handle, as you can see. Welded it to a nice rusty piece of 5/16 little solid stock. And I put us a little washer down there with a couple tack welds on it. Build this little riser out some scrap one by one, cut her at the angle she needs, drill a 3/8 hole where she's got a little bit of slack, and the plan is to butt that against that, weld that to that, and then we'll add another one, add a handle, wham bam, thank you ma'am, we're dumping. In fact, as soon as I get this tacked on, that's probably where I'm headed, to that bathroom, do a little dumping. Too much info? I'll shut up. Got that down there deep, so she's got some slack on it, which is good. So it can have a little play, no binding. That right there should work about perfect. I just realized I've always said perfect. P-E-R-F-E-C. There ain't no T on it. Hell, I'd rather drink tea than pronounce it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Y'all thought I was playing about that dumping? Quick little trim job. Weld us a handle on that sucker. Just weld that on, another little washer. I did make my first mistake, and that is that I know eventually this hydraulic ram from Harbor Freight's gonna fill. I've had like 3 fill. Now it may take a while and you may get a couple of years out of it, but eventually it's gonna fill. And I was like, oh, it won't be too bad because you could lift it, you know, block it, just swap out the ram. But with how I just put that on there, I don't think, see, there ain't enough slack to be able to get that off there. So that's gonna end up being an issue. Now, if you needed to change that and you have the Sawzall and a welder, it ain't really a big issue because you could cut both pieces of 1x1, move it, put it back. I wish I would have thought of that before I just welded all that up. However, we're not gonna backtrack right now because we're running out of time. In the future, if we've got to change that out, then we'll go change it out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's test her out. That was weird. What's going on there? It was coming down fast, then it said Badonga and kind of stopped. Huh. And once we get down there, I didn't think about that. We're gonna try a little re-engineer, and this is gonna solve our other problem as well. I cut that off, move it down here. I'm hoping this kind of being flexible is gonna give it a little more play to it. And to retain that from going this way now, I just drilled a hole, boom, put a little hairpin in there. What's good about that is, look, all right, now we can change that sucker in the future. Look at that. Oh, that's way better, guys. Before I couldn't even, I was having a, now we're money. Yeah, back out to the scrap rack. Got some more 4-inch. This stuff is 3/8, and we're gonna cap the back of this bed. The sides had sprung out, so a little ratchet strap to help suck that in. She's massage fit, but we'll get her. Maybe you won't give it a real swing. Oh, that's a whammy she needed. We've made it to that point where everything's just a complete mess. Guys, after getting that welded on, I want to smooth up them corners because my nephew is Papa Jimmy's little helper, so we want to make sure he don't have any sharp edges to bump his noggin on or anything. Now, unfortunately, as we approach lunchtime, and I got out here at 6 to start gusseting and stuff, guys, I'm realizing the amount of work I want to still do on this thing and not just start rigging a bunch of crap. There's no way. I don't even think even if I worked all day Saturday tomorrow that I'm going to get it all done. I need at least another 2 days. Fuel cell, air system, I don't even have stuff. I'm like, we'll put air right on it, Dad. I ain't got no air or an air system. I've got a couple things I could rig up, but we ought to make it where it has multiple ports for hoses and stuff like that. We're gonna have to figure out some tail lights. I'd like to adjust on the torsion bars because this thing rides like a wood-wheeled wagon. I don't think I ever put shocks on it, so we'd look at putting some shocks. The exhaust is kind of hanging. We could look at picking it up. Since we have air, and we're talking about putting weight back here, we could entertain trying to put an easy airbag helper system on it, just something we fabricate. We need to lock down that crane somehow, something better than that. I was thinking about making some stake slat side pocket thingy-majiggers for Puddin Pop, so if he wants to go trim trees, he can have some sides on this old girl. Where we're gonna put the fuel cell at, we're gonna need to put some type of locking device because you're probably gonna have to dump the bed just to be able to put gas in it. So we want some type of lock you can put in there for safety. We'll have to figure that out. We'll probably entertain cleaning up that rear piece and putting a little paint on it. The brakes are feeling a little spongy, just like maybe there's a little air in there. So I was thinking maybe we could bleed on them. And anyways, I just sat down and was able to write a list quick. And the more I try to rush through this, the more sloppier stuff's gonna start getting. And I'm pretty happy with how all this turned out so far. Now, don't get me wrong, I know some of it's sloppy, guys. We're using scraps, I mean, for the most part. But the work's clean for sloppy work. Does that make sense? Absolutely not, but it does in my head. Anyhow, I guess one thing we've also got to figure out too, I have no clue how much air is required to take that thing for a full dump. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna use our little pancake compressor, which has 6 gallons of air, and we're gonna do a test cycle on this sucker, see if we can get her to dump. She's got about $1.60 in her. So let's see if 6 gallons is enough. Whoo, that air's dropping quick. Well, we quickly discovered the flaw of this system right here at the end. 6 gallons is a lot of air, guys. And having 160 PSI in there is a lot too. All right, I performed a little experiment. I let the 6 gallons build back up to about $1.60. I regulated the air to about 40, which is where it seemed to pump the most efficient, and restarted the whole experiment, and right there is as far as it can dump on 6 gallons of air. I'd say it's got about double to go, which means we need about double that amount of air to be able to do one dump with this thing and not have to sit there and wait on it, which nobody wants to do that. So I'm glad we kind of made it to this point, because I dang sure don't want to put an air system on this where Dad has to dump it halfway, sit around, wait a few minutes for it to build up air, dump it the other half. I need to get some bigger air tanks. And what I'm thinking is we'll run about 200 PSI. So that's going to give us more than what we got right there. And we'll obviously have to regulate it to that. So we've got some stuff to kind of calculate and figure out here. But I'm thinking we need to get at least 10 gallons of air. But I'm going to have to look up and see what size air tanks there are. See what some possibilities are. I didn't realize that little sucker was using so much air. I was hoping we could get away with a 6 gallon one, be able to tuck it up in there somewhere. But like I said, not gonna happen. Before I set this back down, the one thing that has me concerned is all the weight on that bolt right there. And that's because if that bolt does shear, that could shoot forward. So I'd put that 1/3/8 plate right there, but maybe y'all can see that piece I put at top. I angled it and welded it on. That's so if that ever shears, it'll catch that and just wedge against that so this thing can't drop. Makes me feel better it being there anyhow. Woo! That thing's trying to make me earn it. Dang it! That's the biggest I got. Thought I was gonna pick that up and set it on the tow roller to drive it out of here. That sucker's heavy. She is heavy. I was being a sissy. I just stood it up on its end and then just laid it over that away. guess in the end, everything's kind of working out the way it's supposed to, because my plan at the end of this video was to go take it and do a little work. And today's one of those days where we're having like crazy winds.
We're told crews battled more than 130 fires across the state yesterday. Dry air and strong winds spreading the damage across some 170,000 acres.
As a flatbed connoisseur, I love them things. I may not have a lot of them, or any of them yet, till we build Lodestar. But getting this bumper off that thing is my favorite part. That crap was so ugly. And now with that one strip across the back, that's a clean looking flatbed, baby. The wind's blowing so hard that the sky over there is orange, guys. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but that's just from dirt in the air. Nailed it! Let's pull this baby outside. Well, there she is, guys. I didn't get as far as I wanted, but stuff kind of took a turn, I guess. Also, I don't know. I wanted to get it running, driving, which it is. As y'all seen with that carb swap, guys, getting in here this morning, or now here we are at lunchtime, just hitting the key. It ain't ran since at some point yesterday morning. And it just fires right up, guys. Just bump the key, she busts right off. So we definitely did good there. And I'm crows, all right? Can I just do the ending? I might have to whoop 2 crow ass in front of God and everybody. Thank you. I'm happy with where we're at though, guys. Don't get that wrong. I didn't think we were gonna get that far into the dump process. I somehow thought I could pull all this off in 3 days. If you give yourself hard goals to accomplish, you always try hard. And I don't see it as coming up short. I just know it always pushes me to get more done. So that's why I do it. We'll have to go back, or we'll have to be back on this thing for another week, where we'll figure out some of these other obstacles that we're gonna have to get through. But guys, look at that thing from right here. What a bitchin' little pick-em-up truck. Look at half the mess we've left around here. All in, guys, I think that worked out really good. I'm fortunate in having a large variety of scrap metal that I'd got from the factory I used to work at. All that big stuff, they were throwing that out. They said anyone who wants it could take it. A lot of that stuff I've gathered over the years, and I'm actually slim pickings out there. I'm finally using it all up. I knew one day some of that good thick stuff was gonna come in handy for something. This was it. So, so far, what do we spend this go around? About 200 bucks into the RAM and some hardware to build the hinges. And then, well, of course, that don't include the carburetor swap. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm in on the dump bed. Now, obviously, we got a little more to go because of our air system we're gonna add. But all in, so far, that's the cheapest dump anything that I know of, because I've been keeping an eye out for a dump bed or trailer or something. Those things are through the roof. So I hope you guys enjoyed working on the old dually for Dad again. I know I did. I did not realize how much I missed that truck until right now looking at it. Holy cow, that thing is sweet. Dumbo with them big old ears, fly to me, baby. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm on, hell, I don't know, guys. I think I've sniffed too many rust particles in the last few days because I can't think straight. I'm on the Facebooker, on the Instagrammer, even been posting videos on the TikToker, if anyone's on the TikTok. All that's at Puddin's Fab Shop. We've got the Patreon, we've got memberships, blah, blah, blah. You already know. PuddinsFabShop.com for that good quality merchandise. And much other than that, guys, I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you again for being here. And much other than that, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. I'll see y'all in the next one.